All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Crew Show with a little Golden State Warrior video. Check out Pig and a Pickle, two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in Marin County, and they're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville, inside the Emeryville Public Marketplace. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Well, it's been rumored for a few days now, and it became official today. Dario Saric is a Golden State Warrior. Great move for Golden State. Nice move by Mike Dunleavy. Let's talk a little bit about Saric. 6'10", 230-pound forward, signs with Golden State. It's a one-year deal, $2.7 million, the league minimum. He's 29 years of age, former 12th overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft. He's from Croatia, and this is a guy who played with Chris Paul in Phoenix. CP3 was definitely a fan of this move. And he's a pick and pop player. He can run the pick and roll as well, but I think he's best in the pick and pop. And, what's taking a look at this move now? I mean, the Warrior bench is now Gary Payton II, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Dario Saric, Chris Paul, Brandon Pajemski, Trace Jackson Davis, Corey Joseph. Those 8 guys for sure, maybe Lester Quinones as well. And I like this pickup. I mean, he's coming off of a 3-year, $27 million deal, and they get him for $2.7 million on a 1-year deal. He's an underrated defensive player. He will fill kind of the Otto Porter role for Golden State as the guy, a big man who can play multiple spots, guard multiple spots, and shoot the ball from the perimeter. He's made 217 career starts, so he's an experienced guy. 36% three-point shooter for his career, but he shot 39.1% from beyond the arc last year, and he's really, really dangerous in the corner. If you leave Saric in the corner, that thing's down. He shot 44% on the corner threes last year. He played with Oklahoma City and Phoenix last season. He had an ACL injury, a right ACL injury that cost him the entire 2021-2022 season. So he's 2 years removed from that injury. And this guy's also done it in the playoffs. He averaged, 17, 7, and 3.5 assists per game in the 2018 playoffs with the 76ers. He's averaged 10.5. He averaged 10.5 minutes per game for the Phoenix Suns in 14 playoff games in 2021. Saric is a guy who knows how to play, and he's averaged 11 points, 5.6 rebounds, 1.9 assists per game in his 7 NBA seasons. He's had stops in Philly. He's played with the T-Wolves, the Suns, and the OKC Thunder. And really what he gives Golden State is just another reliable bench piece who can be a floor-stretching big man. He's a versatile forward / center in Golden State's scheme. They'll probably play him a lot at the 5. What I really like about him is he can pass the ball, and he really makes smart decisions. And that's, one of the emphasis, the things that Mike Dunleavy wanted to emphasize when he was creating this roster is the Warriors wanted more guys who know how to play basketball. And Saric is that. Chris Paul is that. I mean, these guys absolutely fit the description of high basketball IQ guys who know how to play. And that, when you're a team that relies on body movement and ball movement, you really need guys who can play off the ball. You really need guys who know how to play the game. You need guys who can play well with others and can make key passes. And this guy can do that. He'll become an unrestricted free agent with non-bird rights next offseason. So Golden State has him for 1 year. And for the Warriors, their roster now stands at 13 players. So they've got a total projected cap of about $411 million, which is sizable for sure. But what I really love about Saric is this guy does it in big moments. He's averaged double figures in scoring in 4 of his 6 NBA seasons. And, the whole plan for Golden State is get Steph Curry a 5th ring. And this is a guy who I think can help. You look at that bench, Pajemski and Trace Jackson are young. Quinones is young. But Corey Joseph, veteran. Chris Paul, veteran. Dario Saric, veteran. Gary Payton II, veteran, and you've got a couple young players in Kuminga and Moody, not to mention Trace Jackson Davis and Pajemski. So, you've got a nice mix, but you've got a heavy emphasis on some veteran players. And this guy's going to play a lot. And the one thing I didn't like about Saric watching him last year is I just felt like he looked a little less fluid after the ACL injury than he did pre-ACL. Pre-ACL, he was a very fluid big man who could, just moved, like, his moves were very much liquid. And just he could move, he could go where he wanted to go. Last year, he seemed to, I don't want to say he was dragging the leg, but he didn't have quite the fluidity that he had in previous years. I have a guess here that that's going to get better 2 years off of the surgery. So, also a little fun fact on Dario Saric: 10 of his top 11 scoring games in his career have come on the road. So, I mean, if you're going to do things in the NBA, you got to get it done on the road. You got to have guys who have confidence on the road. And Saric is a guy who does that. He's got confidence to do it on the road. He's a smart, savvy player with a high IQ. Now, where does this leave Golden State? They are 13. They've got 13 roster spots filled. And I don't think they're going to fill the last roster spot because they want to give themselves some flexibility. They want to potentially be able to participate in the buyout market. You can't do that if you have all 15 roster spots. So I think they're one guy away from a complete roster. Now, what is that player? Is that player a more traditional big? I did see that Dwight Howard listed the Warriors as one of the 5 teams that he feels like he could help. Do they go for a big player? A lot of talk about Bol. Probably the best steal on the market right now is Christian Wood. There was talk that the Lakers may wind up landing Christian Wood on a minimum deal. I'd love to see Christian Wood here. But, Steve doesn't play a lot of bigger players. The Warriors, if you think about it, the Warriors have had Kevon Looney as their sole big man on their last title team. So possibly, the Saric will be the only big that they sign. Trace Jackson Davis is more of a 5. Saric on this team probably is more of a 5. I think if you ask most people, they would say the final need for that last spot is a veteran wing that has size and has a high basketball IQ as well. If they can find that piece to the puzzle, that may be the final piece. So it's going to be interesting. Is the final piece a wing with size and basketball smarts, or is the final piece another big man who can protect the rim and give them, an ability to bang inside and have a little bit more size on their bench? If I were them, I would just go with the best player available. If the best player available is a wing, go for a wing. If the best player available is Christian Wood, then go sign Christian Wood. If you can get Christian Wood at the league minimum, that would be an unbelievable steal. But overall, I think if you look at what Golden State has done since the end of the year, they moved off of Jordan Poole and they brought in Saric, they brought in Chris Paul, they brought in Pajemski, who's a very good rebounder, by the way, and he's showing terrific rebounding ability in the summer league. And then they went for a veteran college player in Trace Jackson Davis, who's a rookie, but he's an age 23 rookie who's coming off of playing 4 years in the Big Ten. So maybe Trace Jackson Davis can contribute more than your typical rookie. I do believe Pajemski is going to get some minutes. I don't think he'll be buried on the bench. And then they also added the veteran guard Corey Joseph, who's going to give them another guy who can handle the ball and make plays for others. So, the final piece to the puzzle should be interesting. I don't think, it's going to be a dramatic piece. Who knows? Maybe they'll make a trade. But overall, are the Warriors a title contender? Yeah, I guess you could argue they're a title contender. They're not a favorite, nor are they going to be a favorite. But I also don't think that they're on the outside looking in as far as contender status. Um, Adding Paul, adding Pajemski, adding Trace Jackson Davis, Corey Joseph, and now Dario Saric. I think they've added some basketball players. They've added some high IQ players. They've added some players who can pass the ball. They've added players with multiple skills. And now it's just a matter of can they find either one complementary piece or maybe one steal, unless they're eager to make some kind of a trade involving Kuminga or Moody. It looks like we're looking at the roster for the most part that they're going to have. And it's not a title favorite, but I think they're in the mix. They're in the mix, and Saric is going to help them in a lot of ways. He's going to give them that floor stretching big. And man, when they swing it around the perimeter and they can find, you got Steph Curry, you got Klay Thompson, and these guys can flat out shoot the basketball. And then all of a sudden you flip it over to Saric in the corner. Chances are he's going to be wide open, and he knocks that shot down 44% of the time. So overall, good move. This one's been rumored for about a week, and they finally got it done. Good to see. It makes them a smarter team, a bigger team, a more veteran team, and I think overall a better team. So I really like the move. Thanks for checking out the Krug Show on YouTube. Thanks to our title sponsor, Pig in a Pickle, for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. And once again, thanks to all of you for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.